Everyone.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning, sir.
Yeah.
Good morning, sir.
Yes, good morning. See, in the last session, we
Good
had a
morning, sir.
discussion. Yeah, good morning. We had a discussion on the concept of Marxism. Today, also, we shall discuss a new concept which is also related to the Marxism, is neo-Marxism, isn't it? The neo-Marxist theory, it's a theory which is related to the contemporary time. Okay, so where we will discuss the meaning of neo-Marxism. Also, I just make you to understand in the last session what I have discussed with you. I have discussed with you the concept of the Marxist ideology. Okay, Marxist. See, for example, if anyone who follows the ideology of Marxism is called Marxist. Okay, we call Marxist. It's not a Naxalist. Okay, you have to remember it. Marxism is generally the ideology which have developed 1800 after in the Germany by Karl Marx. Whenever we discuss Marxism, two thinkers are very, very important. One is Karl Marx, another one is Friedrich Engels. The both are from Germany. He is a German scholar who made their effort to see the society on the grounds of equality, isn't it? So whatever the injustice is being takes place, in order to stop the injustice, any kind of injustice, and this Marxistic approach, a Marxistic ideology which I have developed. Yesterday, which I have told you, there are a lot of elements which I have discussed as a part of this Marxism. One, I have make you to understand theory of surplus. And you know, Karl Marx have defined the base structure of the society. Base structure of the society means how the society actually it's divided. Society has divided into two and categories. One is haves category, another one is an have not category. What is the meaning of haves category? Rich people, okay, you can say investors, capitals, and all of them. Where people do not have economical stability, the peoples who do not recognized in the society on the grounds of status, those are all comes under the purview of have not. This have not also is being called it as a dependent, whereas have it is termed as independent, isn't it? So always dependent, always depends on other one. Okay, the person or anything which always keeps its strategy to depend on one another, that it can be called it as a dependent strategy. So the have not people always it's been depends on haves. Okay, in terms of working in the industries and somewhere at all, isn't it? So I mean to tell you, in order to avoid such kind of an categories of the society, in order to make a single society, which is a uniform society or equilibrium of society, or you can say egalitarian society, Karl Marx have made it its stance in the 1800 after in Germany, who spread his ideology across the world, that bringing equality in the society and by avoiding a kind of discrimination between haves and have not, isn't it? So in order to that, he made it a kind of a Marxism policy, Marxism ideology. In this ideology, Karl Marx and Friedrich Engels confess it that all have not should appease at the level of haves. Haves always should encourage to the have nots. So in keeping in view of that, and I have said it in one ideology which I've developed by Karl Marx, that is theory of surplus. Okay, whatever the surplus value is there, it has to be distributed among the each and every employee of the company, isn't it? So that is what I have explained in the last sessions about in Marxism. To avoid a kind of an discrimination or demarcations in the society or any kind of an differentiations in the society, the Marxism have made it a kind of ideology, Marxistic ideology. Okay, this is supported This is promoted by and Karl Marx as well as Friedrich Engels. Now we are going to have discussion. This topic is about neo-Marxism. There are two letters, two words are there in one sentence. Okay, what is neo-Marxism? I think everybody aware of it. What is Marxism? Okay, you know that Marxism ideology have developed by Karl Marx. It aims to bringing society into the equality. Okay, this is one. When it comes to the point of this as neo-Marxism, neo is a word which has added to the Marxism, which means new Marxism. Okay, because nothing will constant, always it goes changes. Am I correct? Everyone. So nothing will go, I mean, constant, and time to time it changes from one decade to another decade and 1 year to another year. Definitely there will be a dynamism. Similarly, Marxism also have been affected by the dynamism. Okay, these dynamism makes you to understand in the, I mean, in the word of this, in the, I mean, in the ideology of neo-Marxism. Okay, I will tell you in detail what is actually the neo-Marxism, what, and you will understand from this, I mean, and what are the Antonio Gramsci's and views on the neo-Marxistic approach. You can see page number 70 in your books. From 70 onwards, you can find the neo-Marxism approach to even the 71, and continuously subsequently you can see the pages over there, isn't it? So what is a neo-Marxism? This is known as an, I mean, a new interpretation on the traditional theory, means in the Marxism, is known as neo-Marxism. Okay, see, generally past, what we have seen in the past, okay, it hasn't, it will not be a constant. What we have seen 100 years ago, we can't see the same after 100 years. Say for example, if I ask you your age now in the 2022, and it would be 1, and if I ask you the age after 2030, you can't say the same age which you have told me in the 20 and 20, which I've asked you. So any interpretations in the traditional theory and the Marxism, it can be known as and neo-Marxism. Neo-Marxist, where, I mean, the person who follows the ideology of neo-Marxism, he is called as a neo-Marxist. Okay, he is called it as neo-Marxist. A neo-Marxist where, and this illusion with the Soviet brand of communism, isn't it? Soviet brand of communism, where, and this Soviet brand of communism, if you could see, state become powerful and pursued a policy of oppression and leading to delusion and de-illusion among the people. The new society, which would be based on the economic quality and social cooperation, was nowhere to seen. The preconditions for the establishment of the socialism did not emerge. What emerged was a dictatorship of the Communist Party dominated by the political elite. Dissent was suppressed to strengthen the positions of the party elect. What you need to understand from this point of view here is that neo-Marxism is guides us and guarding us and generally a national interest of the people. You know, neo-Marxism always makes it a point to protect, okay, to protect an individuality, protect those who are downtrodden community in the society. Neo-Marxism approach is have made by the, I mean, Karl Marx, and soon after the Karl Marx, and in the contemporary many changes has comes. How could we understand the Marxism? You know, no, when Marxism, when he discussed the base structure causes of inequality, okay, what Marxism said, base structure cause of inequality. This was a traditional theory as per the Karl Marx. But when it comes to the modern, what I have said, here the many changes has been takes place in the many changes, and the, I mean, Marxism have been in change into the different forms. Not only the base structure which causes of inequality, but also there is essential factors like, you know, other factors like investment, rich people, elite category, okay, and bourgeois category, all of them, and it's been an affected to the society in order to disrupt the equality, isn't it? So neo-Marxism speaks about that. Okay, what Marxism says that this theory is truly relate against to the concept of capitalistic society or bourgeois society, isn't it? They never accepted. Karl Marx never accepted to have an entire powers in the hands of bourgeois class. Bourgeois class के माने होते हैं जो लोग रिच कास्ट में रहते हैं और जो लोग को इन्वेस्ट करने का जो पावर रहता है, जैसा मनी फिनेंशियल स्टेबिलिटी रहती है, उन सारे लोग को बुर्जुआ कम्युनिटी कहलाते हैं, जैसा कि लैंडलॉर्ड्स है या न Okay. Can you able to see the screen, everyone, right now? I'm sorry to disturb you because I'm getting a lot of fetching the internet over here. That's the reason I'm just skipped out. Okay, fine then. So is this my voice is clear to everyone now? Okay, fine. See, proletarian community, and which means that actually those who are poor, okay, those who are treated as an less financial stability in them, those who are actually have no rights in the society, all of them it comes under the purview of a proletarian community. तो यहाँ पे कार्ल मार्क्स का जो ट्रेडिशनल थियरी का जो पर्पस था, ये सारे लोग जो लोग यहाँ पे प्रोलेटेरियन कम्युनिस्ट में जी रहे हैं, तो उन सारे लोग को अपीस करके इक्वल टू यहाँ पे रिच क्लास में लेने, आई मीन इन ऑर्डर टू ब्रिंग देम, इन ऑर्डर टू ड्रैग देम, दिस कॉन्सेप्ट हैज बीन एन एमर्स्ड, इजंट इट? इसके तहत सारे रेवोल्यूशंस हो चुके हैं यहाँ पर, ओके, या थ्योरी ऑफ सरप्लस वैल्यू को भी लिया गया है यहाँ पर, ये सारे थिंग्स टू अपीज ऑफ दिस इन प्रोलेटेरियन कम्युनिटी. तो सिमिलरली न्यू मार्क्सिज्म, जो मार्क्सिज्म ट्रेडिशनल थियरी में जो बोला गया था, द थिंग व्हिच इज डिस्कस इन द ट्रेडिशनल थियरी इज अबाउट बिकॉज ऑफ इनइक्वालिटी काजेस ऑफ एंड प्रोलेटेरियनिज्म बुर्जुआ, जो बुर्जुआ लोग डोमिनेशन करते हैं प्रोलेटेरियन पे, ये सारे चीज जो फाइनली इट लीड्स टू द सोसाइटी इन कम्स अंडर द इनइक्वालिटी. तो इसके तहत ही बेस यहाँ पे हैव्स में चले गए और हैव नॉट को डिवाइड किया गया. तो सारे सिस्टम को अलग करके एक ही सोसाइटी बनाना उनका कार्ल मार्क्स का पर्पस था यहाँ पर, isn't it? तो in order to making it a single society, he has made it a lot of things. Similarly, when it comes to the point of the neo-Marxism, it says that यहाँ पे जो ट्रेडिशनल थियरी में बोला गया था प्रोलेटेरियन कम्युनिटी बुर्जुआ क्लास के तहत यहाँ पे सोसाइटी टू आई मीन थिंग्स में डिवाइड किया गए थे, बट यहाँ पे न्यू मार्क्सिज्म में जो बोला जा रहा है, केवल यहाँ पे न्यू मार्क्स जो मार्क्स आई मीन सोसाइटी में इनइक्वालिटी हो रही है, सिर्फ यहाँ पे प्रोलेटेरियन एंड बुर्जुआ के जरिए नहीं, इसके साथ में बहुत सारे थ्योरीज है, बहुत सारे रीजंस है, बहुत सारे फैक्टर्स है, ये सारे फैक्टर्स and these are all the factors of making out in terms of to bringing inequality into the society. Is that clear to everyone? So neo-Marxism focuses on not only I mean the thing which causes by proletarianism, but also what are the things causes of and this capitalism or elite class and all the things which have made it into the concept of this neo-Marxism. So neo-Marxism and focus on changing circumstances. Okay, the questions that central thesis of the Marxism, if you could see this, it is a superstructure. When it comes to the point of the neo-Marxism, which sees that and what are the changes are bringing out in order to bring an inequality into the society, isn't it? So as in the neo-Marxist in 1923, if you could see the Frankfurt School emerged, in order to focus on many things in the 1923 after. Means what are the changes is been taking place, how these changes are causes to bringing inequality into the society. And దీనిపైన చదవడానికి దీనిపైన ఒక రీసెర్చ్ చేయడానికి అండ్ 1923లో ఫ్రాంక్ఫర్ట్ స్కూల్ అనేది ఒక ఎస్టాబ్లిష్డ్ అయింది. దీస్ ఫ్రాంక్ఫర్ట్ స్కూల్ బేసికలీ హ్యావ్ మేడ్ ఇట్ for a critical of both the capitalism as well as to the Russian model of development. यहाँ पे रशिया में क्यों यहाँ पे and communism को develop किया गया और उसके साथ साथ how the capitalism it's been developed throughout the world and across the world. All these studies have been done in the Frankfurt School after 1923. This is conducted by the neo-Marxism only. So what actually neo-Marxistic ideology is that? Neo-Marxistic ideology believes in the inequality causes, and because of proletarian or bourgeois, it is a traditional theory. When it comes to the point of in the contemporary, they believe that not only such past is causes of inequality, but also there is inequality or haves and have not, it becomes an emerged in the society because of capitalism. Okay, capitalism means the people who invested, who has a capacity to invest, who has a capacity to entrepreneurship, those are all comes under the purview of a capitalism. Okay, and you know that while taking into considerations issues like economic exploitation, inequality, alienation, and so on, the neo-Marxists stressed upon the technological domination rather than capitalistic domination. See, neo-Marxism have focused not only it's speaking on the things which causes of alienation, which cause theory of this in surplus, and which causes of a kind of an other reasons, but also that truly focuses on how the society it's been bringing inequality on the grounds of technological domination, isn't it? The neo-Marxism, see for example, I'll tell you how technological dominations are there. If I'm taking the example to make you to understand how neo-Marxism has been affected to the society, the first one, 1905, before, we used to have a manufacturing of saris. Okay, for example, Pochampalli, if you take it as an example of manufacturing of saris, like the Ikkas saris are very famous in India, that everybody knows that. This Ikkas saris, which entirely the making process was a manual process. What they used to do, they used to take it out a kind of raw material, then after they filtered, and after that they'll make it as start and they dye it, and then after they start the process. So in order to completing often one saree of making, it takes a 1 month or 30 days of time. Okay, this is a time period to making of a one saree. So as in the technological world, if you could see, for a one day, the hundreds of sarees they are manufacturing over here, isn't it? Because of technological domination. So these technological dominations also causes inequality into the society. Oh, you may ask the questions to me that and how technological domination, which causes of and bringing inequality into the society. Let me tell you. నార్మల్గా ఒక ఇక్కస్ శారీని పోచంపల్లికి సంబంధించినటువంటి వాళ్ళు కావచ్చు, మరి ఇతర ప్రాంతంలో నివసిస్తున్నటువంటి వాళ్ళు కావచ్చు, ఒక శారీని తయారు చేయడానికి 30 days టైం పడుతుంది అనుకున్నప్పుడు ఆ యొక్క ప్రోడక్ట్ యొక్క ప్రైస్ పెరుగుతుంది. ఓకే, ప్రైస్ ఎప్పుడైతే పెరుగుతుందో డిమాండ్ తగ్గుతుంది మార్కెట్లో. ఓకే, whenever you are trying to increase the prices of your goods in the market, okay, automatically the demands of the product fell down. Nobody is ready to purchase it because of it's a very expensive. So one thing. Similarly, and you can't sell the product as a cheap price because you have invested 30 days of time. You did it a manual price. Truly, it isn't expensive, isn't it? So as other people, like say for example, those who have adapted the technological manufacturing method, they took less time to making of saree. You are taking 30 days to making of one saree. The technology and it is taking and making of one saree is a 1 day, isn't it? So 29 days of expenditure they are saving it. So obviously there is it bound to sell the product in the market with a cheap price. Similarly, both the qualities and all of them same ainappudiki kuda, and ikkat the Pochampalli sarees, it becomes very expensive. When it comes to the point of technological, it is what it happens that it's a very cheap. సో చీప్ ఎక్కడైతే ప్రోడక్ట్ ఉంటుందో సప్లై పెరుగుతుంది, డిమాండ్ పెరుగుతుంది, అలానే సేల్ కూడా పెరుగుతుంది. అంటే ఇక్కడ పైసలు ఉన్నవాడు, టెక్నాలజీ ఉన్నవాడు వస్తువులను అమ్ముకొని రిచ్ అవుతున్నాడు. అండ్ ఇక్కడ నార్మల్ గా టెక్నాలజీని యూజ్ చేయనటువంటి వ్యక్తి ఇక్కడ అమ్ముకోలేని సందర్భంలో బీదవాడిగా మారిపోతున్నాడు, పూర్గా మారిపోతున్నాడు. The person who do not use the technology, then they are not in selling the product into the, I mean, less or cheaper prices in the market. When he is not able to sell the product in the cheaper prices, and then what it happens, the sale is going to be fell down. So when the sale is going to be fell down, those who depends on the kind of manufacturing of sarees company, the livelihood is going to become a perish, isn't it? So వాళ్ళ livelihood అనేది కాస్త తగ్గుతుంది. तो यहाँ पे क्यों यहाँ पे प्रॉब्लम किया गया, तो जो सारे लोग ऐसे आई मीन टेक्नोलॉजी को यूज नहीं कर पाते, तो उनके प्रोडक्ट को बहुत सारे आई मीन प्राइसेस एक्सपेंसिव रहेंगे और कोई भी नहीं खरीदने से क्या होता, whatever they invested actually they are going to lose it or loss it. So when they loss it, then what it happens, it is going to become a huge loss. Huge loss makes the person, those who participated in the companies, a poor, isn't it? So ఇక్కడ poor అనేటటువంటి సొసైటీ మళ్ళీ క్రియేట్ అవుతుంది. కేవలం ఇక్కడ క్లాస్ ని రెండు రకాలుగా విభజించడం, బేస్ స్ట్రక్చర్ లో కాల్ మార్క్స్ చెప్పడం ద్వారా కూడా, అండ్ ద సొసైటీ ఇస్ బీన్ టర్న్డ్ ఇంటు ద టూ టైప్స్. బట్ నాట్ ఓన్లీ దట్ ఫ్యాక్టర్, ఎలినేషన్ థియరీ ఆఫ్ సర్ప్లస్ ఆర్ ఐ మీన్ ఇన్వెస్ట్మెంట్స్ అండ్ క్యాపిటలిజం, ఇఫ్ యూ కుడ్ టేక్ ఇట్ as a one side of this, but technological aspects also is making a kind of a disturbance to the society in order to bringing the two groups of people. So similarly, what a neo-Marxism confess it that. సో ఇక్కడ టెక్నాలజికల్ డామినేషన్ కూడా తగ్గించాలి. టెక్నాలజికల్ డామినేషన్ తగ్గించాలి ఇన్ ద సెన్స్ వేర్ ఇట్ హ్యాస్ టు బ్రింగ్ ద అవేర్నెస్ అమాంగ్ ద ఈచ్ అండ్ ఎవ్రీ ఇండివిజువల్, వేర్ పీపుల్ కెన్ యూజ్ ద టెక్నాలజీ యాజ్ యూనివర్సల్. When people using the technology universally, there is nothing matter. All will sell. I mean, all will sell the product with the same prices, and how much he is getting, and similarly, other also will get the benefit. ఈ బెనిఫిట్ ద్వారా తమకున్నటువంటి అవసరాలని ఐ మీన్ తీర్చుకొని వాళ్ళు రిచ్ అవుతారు, మిగతా వాళ్ళు తీసుకున్నటువంటి వాళ్ళు కూడా రిచ్ అవుతారు. So when and everyone it becomes a rich, there is no matter of inequality into the society. Hope, I mean, you are understanding what I'm trying to say there, isn't it? So this is a one example. The neo-Marxism confess that neo-Marxism is causes of, I mean, a kind of, I mean, inequality in the society because of technological domination. So Karl Marx is confessed in that, I mean, instead of to, I mean, obstacle of this and technological domination, let's make it as technology to everyone, available to everyone, so that everyone can use and everyone can going to become a rich in the society, isn't it? So this and the neo-Marxism, another concept. Neo-Marxism recognizes a concept of nationalism, isn't it? And it believes nationalism is a commenting force among the workers. The old notions of the workers of the world would unite and fight the forces of exploitation is to fabricate it to be true. The revolts in Hungary, Czechoslovakia, Poland, and other places suggest a deep impact of the forces of nationalism on the people. Neo-Marxism supported thesis called Euro-communism. See, for example, Euro-communism is a term, it makes you to understand European nationalism, isn't it? How do you understand this? You know, see, neo-Marxism not only, I mean, tried to bring the equality in the society by making stop of technological domination, or to studying the, I mean, traditional causes to bringing inequality in the society, but also he makes it very important. The nation which does not follow the nationalism, it is also causes of inequality. Let me tell you, for example. No, what it happens, Euro-nationalism, Euro-communism, he has given an example that when you feel you are, I mean, generally, if you decode it, the word nationalism, what is the meaning of nationalism? Having or feeling or having patriotic feeling towards your country, or having loyalty towards your country, that it can be called it as a nationalism, isn't it? One can have an loyalty, respect, and affection towards a nation. It can be called it as a nationalism. So whenever you feel the nationalism being in the country, you worked hard it. Say for example, अगर आप लोग आपकी कंपनी बोलकर अगर सोचे, तो आपके कंपनी के आई मीन जैसा आपको सोच आई है, तो बिल्कुल आप सही तरीके से काम करेंगे. You worked hard, you make your thing isn't fantastic, isn't it? Similarly, what I'm trying to tell it here is that, and you know, अगर आपकी कंपनी अगर नहीं सोचे, तो वहां पे काम करने की जरूरत ही नहीं, isn't it? So what I'm trying to tell it here is that the neo-Marxism, even the confess it in that, to increasing of a nationalism among the every individual. अगर आप आपका नेशन समझकर यहाँ पे काम करते हैं तो बिल्कुल आपको प्रोडक्टिविटी बढ़ेगी। इस तरह से अगर प्रोडक्टिविटी बढ़ रही है तो कंपनी डेवलप होगी, कंपनी डेवलप होने से सारे लोग को इनकम आएगा। अगर सारे लोग इनकम यहाँ पे ले चुके हैं तो सारे लोग रिच होंगे, isn't it? जब यहाँ पे नेशनल इनकम बढ़ रहा है, सारे लोग की इनकम भी बढ़ रहा है। The per capita income is increasing, nothing but national income also has been increasing. So what actually neo-Marxism makes it out a point that neo-Marxism also is in confess a nationalism. See, for example, I'm an Indian. You true that. And if you, think that if I'm an Indian, I worked hard for my, country. I would like to, affectionate to work in my country. When these kind of things are being, working hard, when I am having an affection towards my country, I'll work for the country. It doesn't make a sense when I'm working for the country, but also I'm not helping to the, country by working in the country, but also helping myself to being in the country, isn't it? अगर आप कमा रहे हैं तो सारे लोग एक बताते हैं कि आपके जरिए से आपको नेशन को क्या डेवलप होगा, आप जो काम कर रहे हैं आपको नेशन क्यों डेवलप होगा. ఒకవేళ మీరు పని చేస్తే మీ వల్ల దేశానికి ఏం లాభం అని అడుగుతారు చాలా మంది అప్పుడప్పుడు అక్కడక్కడ. సో మీరు దేశం గురించి చేయాల్సినటువంటి అవసరం లేదు. నేషనలిజం అంటే మీ యొక్క పనిని చేసుకోవాలి. ఓకే, ఫర్ ఎగ్జాంపుల్ your responsibility is that wake up in the morning, going duty and done, and your responsibility being as a student and listen the class properly and all that. If you do such thing everyone in the right way, then automatically it gives an assistance to the nation. Nations is going to be developed. Today's students are tomorrow leaders generally, which I can change the quotation, isn't it? So what I'm trying to tell it here is that nationalism feeling when increased, automatically there is a chance to increase the productivity. When this productivity increases, it causes of more income. When the more income causes of it, that the families will develop. When developing itself and whole nations is going to be developed, then that is called it as a kind of equality in the society. So neo-Marxism approach not only focuses on the traditional reasons to cause of inequality, but also it focuses on that how technological dominations is causes of disturbance of the society, but also it focuses on that when nationalism is going to be increased, the nationalism, and it helps to the country to get into the equal platform. It helps the country to bringing equality into the entire nation. This is an ideology of this in neo-Marxist. The first example, Hungary. The Hungarian nationalism is a very famous. Czechoslovakia, these are all the countries are very famous to working for their development of a country. Poland, if you take it as an example, or European countries, if you take it as an example, all these countries and always they perceive their own brand of a socialism, own brand of their needs, and own brand of their country only. Such kind of things also which causes of a development of it. This is an ideology of Frankfurt School. Okay, this is an studies of Frankfurt School on understanding the neo-Marxism in the political science. And if I'm taking an other ideas of and neo-Marxism according to Gramsci. Okay, Antonio Gramsci is a famous scholar and the famous thinker in the political science. His idea of neo-Marxism was so appreciable in the political science, which is relevance to the contemporary time. And according to Antonio Gramsci, the idea of neo-Marxism is that, he explained, Gramsci pointed out how in a modern state, the domination, the word domination means, I think everybody use very often. Domination means, I think everybody knows it and very easy, doesn't require to explain to you the meaning of domination. So he says that, he pointed out, Antonio Gramsci pointed out that how in a modern state, the domination by the ruling class is achieved more and by elicitations of consent than by coercion, isn't it? And he explains that how domination means is a kind of an undemocratic way of coercive method. అంటే బలవంత పెట్టడం, isn't it? A kind of a force చేయడం, punishments ఇవ్వడం, okay, and to make them a kind of a disturbance, isn't it? So all these things he has explained how these dominations, even it's a for causes of inequality, causes of disturbance in the society. So Antonio Gramsci, and he defines that in ruling class is nothing but a rich class. how rich class is make it its hegemony, and how it made it in dominations on the poor people, and how they retain the society poor into the poor, isn't it? For example, I'll tell you, take it as a one example of MLA. Okay, if you take it as an MLA, in the constituency, many people will be there, isn't it? No MLA actually wants to see. Okay, I'm trying to give you the example to everyone. I'm trying to tell that, okay, if any family, if any kind of a family, it's like a domination family. Generally, you see, you just leave it an example of an MLA or some other thing. You can take as in a general life. If I'm taking as a general life, okay. So when in a general life, what it happens that, so in the general life, what it happens here is that, I think in a college or somewhere, if someone working you, top of your boss is there, definitely, principal or somewhere. If he has a kind of strategy of domination, అతని కింద పనిచేస్తున్నటువంటి వాళ్ళు ఎవరైతే ఉన్నారో, ఓకే, టీచర్స్, అతనికన్నా టాలెంట్ ఉన్నప్పుడు అతను వెదగనియడు, isn't it? He will not let you to go up. He will never encourage you, isn't it? Because his dominations and teachers. So similarly, అతనికి ఎందుకు డామినేషన్ చేయాల్సి వస్తుందని అన్నప్పుడు, because he is not having interest to see anybody who can go above him. ఓకే, అతనికన్నా ఎక్కువగా రిచ్ అవ్వాలని, లేకపోతే రిచ్ ఇన్ ద సెన్స్ మీన్స్ నాలెడ్జ్ వైజ్ ఆర్ పొజిషన్స్ పెరగాలని ఎప్పుడు కూడా అనుకోడు. అలాంటి సందర్భాల్లో ఈ డస్ ఎ కైండ్ ఆఫ్ undemocratic way of thought process. He inclined to that, isn't it? These undemocratic way of thought process makes it a kind of domination. Normally, for example, you take it as a shop. Okay, in your shop, just beside of your shops, if some shops will be there, okay, if those same shop will be there, you're selling the product of any of medical pharma, or someone an opposite of you, there is a medical pharma shop is there, let's say medical is there. So the opposite of medical always says to you that you should not develop as soon as possible. Develop avvakunda chala precautions తీసుకుంటాడు అతను. So his dominations on your shop or on your medical to not to improve. Similarly, because of the person who isn't doing the domination, he doesn't want to see you as an develop, isn't it? So ikkada kuda, how elite community will show the dominations of the poor people in the society. Rich class, how they shows the dominations on the people, how a political leader will makes it use of a dominations of the people to not to let to go up. All this thing, it's being a part and parcel of this, kind of a domination. And according to Antonio Gramsci says that how, dominations is perceived on a common people by the rich people. So this also, అంటే ఇక్కడ రిచ్ అండ్ పువర్ అనేది, రిచ్ ఉన్నటువంటి వాళ్ళకి ఇష్టం ఉండదు పువర్స్ డెవలప్ అవ్వాలని. ఇస్ ఇట్ దట్? See, rich always wants to become a rich, poor always wants to become a poor only. ఇప్పుడు రిచ్ కమ్యూనిటీ ఎప్పుడు కూడా అనేది ఏంటి, రిచ్ ఎవరైతే ఉన్నారో పువర్ కమ్యూనిటీ ఎప్పుడు కూడా రిచ్ అవ్వకూడదని, isn't it? The work taught that. Say for example, the revolving of this called Marxism is revolving around the kind of and this dominations only. So Antonio Gramsci makes it out of political dominations in the society, that how actually the dominations takes place in the society. This is one concept he has been developed. These dominations, even the causes of inequality into the society, as like political party, non-political party, the neo Marxistic ideology, how American peoples have studied about, and this kind of a neo-Marxism concept has been given in the page number 71 and 72. You can read and understand that. And also at the same time, Althusser's concept of neo-Marxism. The Louis Althusser's interpretations of the Marxism has often been labeled as structuralist interpretations of the Marxism. Althusser is a thinker in the political science who focuses on his studies to understand neo-Marxism, which are related to structure as a process in thinking about a Marxism afresh. Means, key features of in his neo-Marxism, if you could see that, how actually structure means మనం ఏర్పాటు చేసుకున్నటువంటి society and how it's actually causes of bringing inequality, isn't it? So Louis Althusser, younger group of French philosopher, it belongs to French, and he began the project which came to be denoted the structural Marxism. So structure, he is also, I mean, propounder of the structural Marxism. Althusser's, I mean, Louis Althusser, he focuses a kind of an, I mean, structural Marxism. He has explains very, I mean, constructively. On the grounds of it, he also named as an structural, I mean, neo-Marxism also has been developed. I mean, question may asked in the examination, who have developed the structural neo-Marxistic? That is Louis Althusser, isn't it? Even you can see in the 72 page number, Jürgen Habermas concept of neo-Marxism. What he has says that the neo-Marxism of Jürgen Habermas as a stand of critical theory did not emerge out of the crisis in the communistic politics and the Marxistic philosophy. According to Habermas, is a primarily belong to the critical theory of school. He says that the Marxism emphasizes on communicative action, public sphere and deliberative democracy. ఇతను ఏం చేశాడంటే న్యూ మార్క్సిజం ఐ మీన్ హౌ ఇన్ఈక్వాలిటీ కాజెస్ అనే కాన్సెప్ట్ తీసుకొని ఎలా పబ్లిక్ స్పియర్ రీజన్ అవుతుంది, కమ్యూనికేటివ్ యాక్షన్స్ ఎలా అవుతాయి, deliberative democracy, how it is causes of a neo-Marxism, all these things it has discussed, and by the Jürgen and Habermas, the Jürgen Habermas theory is a very famous theory which is related to the community. Okay, he defines the neo-Marxism by taking an example of deliberative democracy, public sphere, and communicative action. This is all about a neo-Marxism. You can see, and this, I mean, meanings are there in the glossary, where base structure, communist, neo-Marxism, pretty bourgeois, I mean, bourgeois, you can also say pretty bourgeois, the proletariat, all this name, I mean, meanings which will be there, you can see that. And I'm going to, and after discussions of the neo-Marxism, as well as to that, and Marxism approach, we should also understand even the significance of this Marxism. What is the significance of the Marxism, as if you could take it as an Marxistic ideology? So Marxism approach attributes primacy of economic factors for understanding various issues related to the political science. So here, and this concept make you to understand as a significance, Marxist approach, it tells us that how economic factors, ante ఆర్థిక పరమైనటువంటి అంశాలు కావచ్చు, ఆ ఆర్థిక సమస్యలు కావచ్చు, ఏ విధంగా పొలిటికల్ science law, I mean, influence chestai, how it is causes of, I mean, issues in the political science that we understand from the Marxist approach. The second, I mean, significance of the Marxism approach related to the political science is that Marxist approach believes that all social relations and the political relations in a society are shaped by economic relations prevailing in the society, isn't it? So the third one, if you take it as in this approach, make you to understand social conflicts leading to social and political movements as a clash of economic interest. So how an economic interest causes of clashes between the one another society, how economic clashes makes it a society into the rich and poor and haves and have not, and all other things makes us to understand from the Marxism approach. Similarly, you can see Marxist approach views the state and the politics as instruments of class domination, particularly the rich classes dominating the state and politics safeguard their economic interest and expedite the process of exploitations of working of class. I think you might have discussed how this economic, I mean, things are being exploited by the society, how economic exploitations causes of disturbance in the society, all of them we, I mean, sees in the Marxism. So overall, in general, I will tell you what is Marxism. Marxism ante, I'll tell you in the 3 languages and try to understand. So you, at least you must have a kind of an idea of what is a Marxism said by Friedrich Engels and Karl Marx. Marxism ante దీనిని మార్క్సిస్ట్ సిద్ధాంతం అనే పేరుతో పిలుస్తాం. మార్క్సిజం ఏంటంటే ఒక సొసైటీ లేకపోతే సమాజం ఏ విధంగా 2 వర్గాలుగా విభజించబడ్డది, ఆ 2 వర్గాలు రావడానికి గల కారణాలు ఏంటి అంటే ధనిక వర్గం, పేద వర్గం, రిచ్ క్లాస్, పూర్ క్లాస్ ఏ విధంగా వచ్చింది, ఈ యొక్క ఐ మీన్ సమాజాన్ని, ఐ మీన్ భిన్నంగా ఉన్నటువంటి సమాజాన్ని ఏకత్వంగా ఎట్లా తయారు చేయాలనేటువంటి అంశం పైన మార్క్సిస్ట్ సిద్ధాంతం చెప్పింది. The Marxist says that, and how society it's been turned up into the two groups of society. One is in haves and have not, and how the haves and have not should be eradicated, and how make the society as a unified society. In order to that, entire the concept of Marxism revolves around to in order to bringing equality into the society. So దీనికి same concept మనం చూసినప్పుడు you can see socialism concept also. Before the Marxistic ideology, if you could say the socialism ideology, even the socialism also says that bringing equality in the society to making society as an under one roof without having any kind of a discrimination. The same concept it has taken by Karl Marx and Friedrich Engels. He made it to understand that on how the society is into the two groups, how it should make it as a unified groups. And these are all the things you might have discussed. The neo-Marxism and how Karl Marx says that the haves and have not causes of to disturbance in the society. One reason on the grounds of economical reason. Okay, economic causes of reason and financial reason you can say. But neo-Marxism inequality ravadaniki in order to coming inequality in the society, not only the reason economy, but also there are some reasons like technological domination, like even other things also which is required, yes say. So similarly, Louis Althusser's model, Habermas, people's and Marxistic approach and all of them we have seen. So this makes us to understand the how society hasn't turned up at the time of beginning of 18th century and 19th century. We have seen according to the Marxism Friedrich Engels, isn't it? So from this, and you can read always the theory of surplus and class war of doctrine is a very important. You please read it out, these two concepts of Karl Marx. Okay, so let us will move on to the another unit. I'm going to a previous unit as in the last sessions which I have said to you that we shall discuss the previous unit after this unit. So I'm going back and page number 1 second. Page number 50, that is system and structural functional approach. I'll give you what this part is belongs to that. I think you might have discussed understanding the political science. There are two approaches. One is traditional approach, another one modern approach. What was the things in the past that shall comes under the purview of traditional approaches? I have given an example, understanding the Socrates theory, understanding the even there's an Plato's and Aristotle theory, that it shall comes under the purview of a traditional theory, and I said it. Similarly, when it comes to the point of this, if I'm taking this one, modern approaches. In the modern approach, I make you to understand how we need to understand the political science by taking reference of modern approaches. In the modern approaches, we have understand few approaches. Along with that, today being two more modern approaches we need to understand in the political science, that is system and structural approach. What is that? Systems approach, structural functional approaches. These approaches makes you to understand how do we understand the political science in a detailed manner. Okay, so and what is a system approach? Let me speak up. Okay, I'll take your questions and everybody, and after the class, don't try to text it unnecessarily. Don't try to give the work to your finger. Okay, and just give me wait time short. I'll start the sessions at 12:25 to take your doubts, and then after I'll try to clarify one by one. Okay, do not try to text it in frequently. Okay, now I'm going to understand this approach name, systems approach. Okay, system, you often use the word. Okay, it must be a system, you have to do the work into the system, and such a way they use the word. But how do we understand the system approach when you understanding the political science? Let me explain to you the meaning of the system approach. The system approach emanated from the general system theory. This systems approach have taken from general systems theory. These general system theory makes you to understand the behavioral revolutions in social sciences. Okay, behavioral means in the political science, what I have said, understanding the behavior of voters, understanding the behavior of government, understanding the behavior of a common person in the society, understanding the behavior of organizations which are socially organized or socially unorganized. So, where actually the disturbances, if it is takes place in their behavior. Let's say, for example, in the people's, if the vote behavior, if it changes, generally they led the, revolutions against the party or government, isn't it? For example, in the 2014, if you could take it as an example of Telangana movement, the most of the peoples have raised the slogan in order to bifurcations of the state of Telangana from Andhra Pradesh. So this is a behavior. So in order to, how actually behavioralist revolutions has come in the social sciences, that we shall understand as a part of systems approach. The term systems has been defined